Hello everybody, and welcome to today's webinar on undergraduate opportunities in Germany. We're delighted that you could join us today. My name is Leslie Harrelson and I run the DAAD office in San Francisco, and I'll be moderating today's session. Again, we're glad that you could join us. We were not quite sure if this was going to happen today due to Hurricane Sandy, but we are online without email, and my colleagues in New York will talk about that here shortly. But it's good that we at least can access, I guess, the outside world this way. I just want to briefly walk through today's session. I'm going to start with an overview on how to use the webinar software in case you haven't used it already. And then I'm going to pass it to my colleagues in Toronto and New York who will talk about DAAD funding opportunities. And then to two liaison offices, the first, the German University Alliance, my colleague Andrea, who will talk to you from New York, as well as the Consortium of Universities of Applied Sciences called UAS 7. And we have a representative from Berlin, actually, who will be talking to you about those programs. And then we will move on to the Q&A. So if you haven't participated in a webinar before, this is how you interact with us. You should have a control panel on the side of your screen that looks something like what is on the screen right now. And all the lines are muted, so if you are talking, we can't hear you, and the way you will interact with us is through chatting. The Grab tab, letter B here, is a way that you can minimize and maximize the size of the control panel so that you can view all of the screen. It also allows you to raise your hand if you have any questions. We won't be calling on you directly, but so it's best to email in your questions, and you can do that through sections E and F. That's where you type in the question and hit send, and those questions will go to me, and I'll be collecting them for the Q&A period at the end of the session. We already have had a question or two come in, so we encourage you to send those at any time, and we will save them up for the end of the session. The audio pane is the letter C, is the way that manages how you're listening to the webinar today. Looks like most of you are listening via your computer, via mic and speakers. If at any time you lose sound, go ahead and just toggle between these two radio buttons here, and that often resets the audio mode. If you have any questions about the technology of today's webinar, do just send me a message. Again, my name is Leslie Harrelson. You can send a chat here in the question section, and I can try to troubleshoot you from here from San Francisco. This is our contact information. We'll be showing this to you again at the end, so no reason to copy it down now, but you can access via email. We don't currently have email now, so this is our email is down, but this is for the future. But our colleagues at German University Alliance and UAS 7 do have access to their email. And now, before I pass it on to my colleagues at DAAD, I wanted to launch a quick poll to see what all of you are interested in. So if you look at your screen now, you should see a poll. You are interested in learning about or pursuing a summer study in Germany, semester or year study in Germany, an internship in Germany, or research in Germany. So if all of you can go ahead and check out the screen and click your response. We would love to know exactly what you're interested in so we can make sure we focus on everything. Okay. And you can click more than one, so feel free to do so. It looks like 70% of you have voted. We're just waiting for the last few people. So it looks like last two people, please send in your votes. Looks like 90% of you are interested in a semester or study in Germany. 64% are interested in research in Germany. 55% summer study in Germany, and 45% of you internship in Germany. So it looks like all of the above are fairly popular. So we will be addressing opportunities for all of you for all of those different opportunities. For those of you that would like to study in the U.S., this actually isn't the best place to go. This is a webinar for opportunities for undergraduate study in Germany. If we have anybody participating from overseas, just a heads up, this is for current North American students who would like to go to Germany. The DAAD funding programs are only available for students in North America. Students are that are studying degree-seeking students at a U.S. or Canadian university. You don't have to have a U.S. passport or a Canadian passport, but you do have to be studying here. Our colleagues from the German University Alliance and UAS 7 will be addressing some of their programs that are available just to North Americans, others, general information about the university, so it's applicable to everyone. But do know that if you're especially interested in DAAD grants, it is just for North America, students in North America. And I want to just launch one more quick poll, and this is to get a sense of who our audience is right now. Are you a student, professor, study abroad representative, career advisor, or other? So if you could go ahead and send in your vote, that would be great. You're quick on this already. 70% of you have voted. Please go ahead and let us know who you are. Looks like I didn't create enough categories. We have 33% of you are other, 33% are study abroad representatives, 17% professor, 8% career advisor, and 8% students. So most of you study abroad representatives, followed by professor, and then an equal number of students and career advisors. So a little bit of everybody, and then 33% of other. So be interested to know who the others are. And with that, thank you very much for sharing your voice on these polls. It's always great to know exactly who our audience is today. And with that, I am going to pass it on to Peter Kerrigan, who is the Deputy Director of the DAAD Regional Headquarters in New York, as well as Jessica Denenberg, who is at the DAAD office in Toronto. So thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Peter, for participating, and take it away.
Thank you, Leslie. Yes, I just want to add, first of all, thank you, Leslie, particularly since you've just returned from vacation last night. So despite jet lag, you're there early in San Francisco helping us get this presentation going. And just to add on, just one comment that you made about people who may be listening in from outside of the U.S. and Canada. DAAD has offices around the world. I'll talk about that in a moment. So there is funding opportunity. There are opportunities for you no matter where you are in the world and from whatever country you're from. So just because this may not be directly applicable to you, there are other funding schemes through DAAD which might make sense for you. And Leslie also mentioned sort of the aftermath of Hurricane Sandy. I want to thank all of you for attending this, and particularly for those of you who are directly impacted by the storm. Our thoughts are with you. We have personally here in New York gone through it, so we know what you're dealing with. We ask, and if you could also disseminate this information with your friends and colleagues. As Leslie mentioned, our email has been down since Monday, since the storm hit, and we are unable to read and or send emails from our DAAD.org accounts, regardless if we're sending them from Toronto, San Francisco, or New York. So please be patient. The phone numbers work, and we have set up an emergency Gmail email account specifically for urgent matters because a number of our deadlines are coming up. So please visit our website for more information about that. And that having been said, I don't know, did you want to add anything to that, Jessica, before we get started?
No, I think you've covered most of it. Thanks, Peter.
Okay, so we're going to just, I'm going to talk very briefly about who we are, the German Academic Exchange Service. I'm going to assume that many of you have not heard of us. And in essence, what we do is we represent German higher education and research around the world. And so we're able to advise on study and research opportunities. But equally important, if not more important for some of you, we give out a lot of scholarships and grants to help facilitate a study or research experience in Germany. The facts and figures are there in front of you. I'm not going to go through them in great detail, but I think what we should say that as Jessica has written on the slide, over 70,000 people are supported annually, but if you include the Erasmus, the intra-European figures, we almost reach 100,000 people annually who are supported to go to and from Germany. So all fields are supported by us, and we have information about all fields, relevant fields in Germany. So if you want to go on to the next slide, please. Mm-hmm. Thanks. Just to give you a sense, as I mentioned briefly, a scope of where we are. Leslie mentioned that I am here based in our regional office in New York, and as you can see by the lovely orangey yellow circles there, we work in tandem. The information centers in Toronto and San Francisco to cover all things US and Canada.
Great. Thanks, Peter. So I'll just briefly say something now about the Bologna process of higher education and the developments that that's brought to Germany, because that actually does affect students and faculty members who are interested in studying in Germany or taking part in a program there. Essentially, the introduction of the Bologna process, which was started back in June 1999, aspired to create a European higher education area, which essentially over the past dozen years or so has created a three-tiered degree structure as we are familiar with here in North America. So the traditional sort of bachelor, master, and doctoral studies programs. This means in Germany they're referred to as international degree programs, and this means that essentially the degree programs that you can pursue now in Germany will be more compatible and comparable with the three-tiered degree structure that we have here in North America. This makes it a lot easier to be mobile and to do a semester or 2 semesters of study over in Germany, whether it be an exchange or whether it be part of a summer program, whatever the case may be. As well, there are now more rankings, which is something that hasn't traditionally been a part of German higher education. So these are all sort of factors that are making it easier for you to be mobile with Germany. And of course, we always have the question, why Germany? We've got a few statistics here just about why you may choose Germany. Everyone has their own reason for choosing Germany, but obviously German is actually a very popularly and widely spoken language around the world. There are a number of publications published in German as well as websites. They have currently more than 250,000 international students studying in Germany, and of course Germany has the largest economy in Europe and the 3rd largest in the world. Peter, did you want to continue?
Yes, and so just to add on to that, just 2 facts to keep in mind, that because Germany has almost 250,000 of international students in their university system, they're quite welcoming to students from abroad and, of course, diversity. And they are this vast slice between 3rd and 4th largest recipient of international students in universities in the world, and it's the 2nd most popular destination for U.S. students who want to seek a master's degree abroad. Which brings us to the next slide, thank you, about German higher education. I'm just going to very, very briefly, oversimplifying the entire university structure, but just to talk about the different types of universities. And our panelists will go into this in greater depth later, Isabel and Andrea. The research university is sort of the classic, as the name states, is a university where you can conduct research, but really I think the easiest way to remember it is that the terminal degree is a PhD when they offer also professional and doctoral programs and postdoc opportunities. Again, very simply put, the University of Applied Science, or the Fachhochschule in Germany, tends to terminate at the master's degree, and the degree is much more practically oriented. Okay. If you go on to the next. And very briefly, I'm not going to sort of belabor this slide because we really want to get to the meat of the matter, which is the funding opportunities in a second. But there are ways for you to look at the right program, whether it be an undergraduate study abroad opportunity, or if you wanted to look actually for a degree program, and as Jessica mentioned, if you want to look for university rankings. I think the most interesting slide or I should say website for those of you who are interested in pursuing a master's degree in Germany would be the International Degree Program. That's the IDP listed there. But really the 2 at the bottom are fantastic resources, whether you want to go as an undergraduate for study abroad or research, etc. That's Study In, the Study in Germany website, and the Research in Germany website. For those of you based in the U.S., there are a number of wonderful online resources, Study Abroad, Go Abroad, IAEPassport.org, which are a plethora of programs from short-term to longer-term to semester abroad.
Great. Thanks, Peter. So I'll just quickly mention what the DAAD scholarship entails, essentially. DAAD scholarships provide funding for study abroad or internships or senior thesis research. They're open to students in all fields of study at all academic levels, right the way from bachelor all the way up to faculty. Your German language proficiency, that's always a big question, whether students need to be fluent in the German language. This, of course, depends on what kind of program you're planning to pursue. So your knowledge of the German language should be commensurate with whichever program you are hoping to pursue while in Germany. And it's certainly advantageous, even if you're planning to pursue an English-speaking program. The DAAD scholarship itself is comprised of a monthly stipend or a lump sum, and includes your health and liability insurance in most cases, as well as some travel reimbursement. And finally, there is an all grantees meeting which takes place in Bonn. So now I'll just briefly go over some of the opportunities for study and research in Germany for undergraduates. Firstly, we have our Undergraduate Scholarship, which provides funding for a study, thesis research, or internships. You can essentially go as part of a structured exchange program with your university, or you can also go on an independently designed or organized program. It's open to students in all academic fields for a duration of 4 to 10 months during the German academic year, meaning 1 or 2 semesters of study, and is comprised of about 650 euros per month, as well as your health insurance and a travel stipend. Now, the deadline for this particular scholarship is coming up on January the 31st of 2013, so that's something to keep in mind, especially if you're planning to study abroad in the 2013-2014 year. Next, we have the University Summer Course Grant. This is essentially a grant that's designed to help cover the costs of a summer course that is taught in German at a German university during the course of the summer. It's generally for a course of 3 to 4 weeks in duration. There is a 2-year minimum language requirement for this grant. So in other words, you already have to speak a certain level of German and studied it for about 2 years at the college level. And the scholarship is comprised of $850, which is designed to cover your tuition, room and board, as well as your health insurance, and there is, of course, some kind of travel reimbursement. The deadline for this particular scholarship is December the 15th, so it's coming up in the next month or so. Next, I'll just briefly mention the German Studies Research Grant. This is a grant for students in the field of German studies who are nominated by their department or program chairs, and it's designed to help support short-term research, 1 to 2 months of research in North America or Germany. Essentially, it's geared towards junior or senior or graduate students who are, as I said, a German studies major or minor. And essentially, it's comprised of $1,500 to $2,500 lump sum of research support for living costs. That, of course, depends on the nature of your study proposal, what you plan to do. And the deadline, we actually have 2 deadlines for this particular program. There's one on November the 1st, so today. So some of you maybe have already submitted a proposal as of today, and also May the 1st. And with that, I will pass it back over to Peter.
Yes, and I'm going to briefly go through a couple of opportunities because I'm noticing the time, and we do want you to hear from our other panelists. I'm going to just cover a couple of internship opportunities, the first of which is there in front of you. And this is for those of you who are studying or have students who are studying political science, international relations, et cetera, related fields in German. And this requires, unlike some of our other programs, really a strong level of German, both spoken and written, because what you do is you serve as an intern in the German Parliament in the Bundestag. And that comes with actually a very healthy amount of funding and supplemental money for insurance and housing. And the deadline is already passed for this year, but keep it in mind for next. For those of you who are in science and engineering, we're going to talk about 2 opportunities back to back. There are these fantastic programs called the RISE program, the Research Internships in Science and Engineering. And these are internships for the RISEs for the undergraduate students to work matched up with a German PhD candidate in his or her lab at a laboratory in Germany. What's great about this is not only you're getting practical experience, or your students are getting practical experience, but it comes with funding, and depending upon the internship, you may not need any German at all. Keep in mind that the database where all these opportunities are housed will be opening at the end of next week, and the deadline for applications is January 31st. It is by far and large our most popular program. The companion program for that is RISE Professional, and that's for graduating undergraduates and those of you or any of your students in the graduate degrees, master's or PhD. And what's great about this program, it's a similar disciplines, but students are actually working at a company in Germany for up to 6 months with, I have to say, a healthy amount of funding as well, plus supplemental. Jessica?
Great, thanks, Peter. Finally, we'd just like to give you a few websites which we think are going to be really helpful to you in your search and in your research. Firstly, our website for DAAD in USA and Canada is www.daad.org, and then we've got listed there some other funding resources as well. At the bottom, we have those 2 links that Peter mentioned before, really are fantastic resources. If you're looking for study in Germany, then certainly the studyin.de, or if you're looking for more research-oriented, so something at the graduate or even doctoral level, then certainly check out researchingermany.de. And with that,
and also you can get information from us on Facebook and through our Twitter account.
Right, yes,
and Pinterest and LinkedIn, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So.
Yes, we've got a great presence on social media, and be sure to look for DAAD North America if you're searching on Facebook.
Great.
And with that, we hope to see you in Germany.
Yes,
Thanks so much. Thanks, Jessica. Thanks, Peter, and thanks for going through that a little quickly. We do want to make sure to get on to our special guests. First, Andrea Adam Moore, who will be talking to us about the German University Alliance. So thank you again, Peter and Jessica, and for everyone listening, please do send in any questions that you may have about these grants or anything in general through the questions panel, and we will make sure to get to those during the Q&A. So with that, Andrea, are you there?
I am here.
Great. Take it away.
Thank you, Leslie. So as Leslie said, I'm the Executive Director of the German University Alliance, and the German University Alliance is a joint liaison office of 2 of the top research universities in Germany, the Freie Universität Berlin and the Ludwig-Maximilians University in Munich. And what I want to do today is I want to explain what we offer for undergraduates, and also especially want to focus on a number of programs that are open to all undergraduate students from North America. So we do offer summer universities at both these research institutions for international students. We also have a semester and a year abroad program for international students at the Freie Universität Berlin. Of course, we do have exchange students. Both the universities work with a number of North American institutions and have long-standing exchange programs. And I'm happy to talk about these individually. If you're a study abroad advisor and you are looking for a new partner, please get in touch with me. And of course, also we are always happy to receive applications for our degree program from international students. But I want to focus today specifically on the summer universities and the semester year abroad program in Berlin. So I'm going to start with just a few notes on Berlin. And most of you probably haven't been to Berlin yet, but we very much hope that you will be in the future. So Berlin is probably one of the most exciting and vibrant cities in Europe these days. It's a very artsy, creative scene that you will find there. It is the German capital, so it houses a lot of political institutions and also research institutions, but it also has the charm of a European city. Berlin is a big city, so for students who want to experience the big city, it will be a great place to be. About 3.5 million people live there. It's very big, but it's also very green. Berlin has 2 other universities in addition to Freie Universität, and it has a number of other research institutions. So for anyone who's looking for a rich research and academic environment, it's a great place to be. A few visual images. This year you can see a Trabi, like a symbol of East Germany, and the Trabi is actually coming through the Berlin Wall there. So that's something I love about Berlin, that you can actually see its history very closely everywhere. Here you see some of the night scene and the new center of Berlin, Potsdamer Platz, which has that very modern architecture. Big river, and that kind of, you see some of the art sculptures there. Just to give you a few visual impressions there. Now, Freie Universität is in the southwest of the city. It's a very green area of the city, a lot of lakes there, very leafy campus with lots of interesting buildings. Some are typical university buildings, but then you also have some departments that are housed in old villas. So it's a very different campus from what most American students would know. So just coming to the first program, I want to go and describe a little bit more into depth. FUBIS is the Freie Universität Berlin International Summer and Winter University. So FUBIS actually also has a term that is in January, and then it has 2 terms in the summer. One is a 4-week and one is a 6-week term. They run from late May through August every year. So what FUBIS offers is a very intense academic summer program that actually does have academic rigor. So it's not just a tourist stint in Berlin. You'll actually experience a quite challenging but nice program there. We offer up to 45 different subject courses, and our subject courses are actually taught almost entirely in English. Most of them are taught in English, so that students with no prior knowledge of German can also attend. But then, of course, we also offer semi-intensive and intensive language courses at all kinds of different levels. So you'll actually do a placement test in the beginning, and then you'll be put in the right course. What I really like about FUBIS is that, of course, we know that it's the students' summer term, and they also want to see a little something a little different from a classroom. So FUBIS has what they call the extended classroom system, and they really try to take students out of the classroom as much as possible and use these, all these vast cultural, historical, architectural resources and political institutions as well that Berlin has to offer, and make them part of the course, as well as part of field trips. We do have a great extracurricular program, weekend trips to other German cities, and of course I have barbecues and lots of fun things after coursework is done. Classes are small. They're usually between 15 and 18 students, and students will find a very international community in the summer in Berlin every year on campus. There will be a number of German students attending, but it's mostly international students in this program. The FUBIS staff also arranges housing, and there are different kinds of housing options available, from homestays with Berlin families who speak, of course, English, and also stay in the dorms or in a room or in your own apartment. If you go online on the website fubis.org, you'll find the academic program for 2012 online, and it will be updated to 2013 very soon in November. But the 2012 program will give you quite a good idea of what will be offered next year too. You see the dates for next year on the screen here, and the application deadlines are usually 1 to 2 months before the course starts. What you see online too in the academic program is all the courses syllabi and the number of ECTS credits that you or the students will get for attending the course, and that are of course transferable to the home institutions. FUBIS, as you can see here, there's a little logo on the bottom. The Forum on Education Abroad actually did the quality assessment with FUBIS, and it was recognized what great job they are doing there in Berlin. So FUBEST is the program that I mentioned before. It's a year-long or semester-long program. It's almost like an extended version of the international summer program in Berlin, but it's running for a semester or for a year. And the neat thing about FUBEST is that it's actually in line with the American academic calendar. So in Germany, the academic year runs from October through February, and then from April through July, which is really quite different from the American schedule. So we created this program so that American students can actually do a winter term in their fall semester in their home institutions, and then the spring term aligns as well. And what's really nice for those students who are very fluent in German is if they want to, they can actually add on the German summer semester at the end and do kind of 3 semesters in 1 year. So do 2 FUBEST terms and then a regular German summer semester studying with all the German students there. FUBEST, and other than that, it's kind of the same idea. We have subject courses on German, European history, culture, and politics, and these courses will be taught in English, and then we have the language courses that, of course, are taught in German, and language courses are obligatory in this program. Same true as for FUBEST, great extracurricular program, the same extended classroom system that I explained before, and housing options as mentioned before as well. So quickly moving south to Munich. Munich is actually kind of my favorite city in Germany because I just love to be there. It's so close to the Alps. You have all these outdoor opportunities. It has a great park in the middle of the city. So it's a very nice, it's a very traditional German, but also kind of modern place to be. Of course, everybody knows the Oktoberfest, but it has Munich has to offer much more than this. And LMU is one of two big and very good research universities in Munich. So also, again, a very great academic environment. Just a few pictures, which you can look at later on when you download our presentations. You can see all these historic buildings and the Englischer Garten in the middle, and there you can actually see the Alps very close. The campus is in the middle of the city, beautiful old building. It's a great place to study. And then we have a high-tech campus in the southwest of the city that is brand new, and it's a great interdisciplinary environment for the life sciences. So the Munich International Summer University, MISU, is the Munich version of that FUBEST. It's a great program. It runs actually a little different because we do have summer academies there that are pretty much all designed for a specific audience. So half of these summer academies that you see in the bottom there are actually directly targeted to students of law, in the case of German and European law, or literature students, or health, occupational health students. But then we also do offer courses that are more geared towards a more general audience. But they are great, like European Studies and European Environmental Studies that we offer next year. They actually take students not just to Munich, but also, in the case of European Studies, also to Prague and Vienna to really learn about European politics. And then in the case of the European Environmental Studies, students will learn in Berlin, in Munich, and in Vienna about the scientific approach to environmental studies and also a humanities approach. And then we do offer 2 summer research programs in life sciences for advanced life science majors. We also have there a great cultural program and housing and all the services that you expect from a great summer program. Language classes as well at all different levels, including business German course that we offer every year. Yeah, more information you can find on the MISU homepage, which is there, and the application deadlines actually differ quite a bit for the individual courses, so I would ask you to check in on the respective website for that. So with that, I'm going to end here and give it back to Leslie.
Thanks so much, Andrea. A great presentation, and I have to say one thing that I really like about having guest speakers for our webinars is that I learned so much about these programs that through my job working with students here at the Information Center, I advise them on tons of programs, and it's really great to have the opportunity to hear the details on programs that I'm not as familiar with as our own. So thanks, Andrea, for that. And with that, I am handing it over to Isabel, who is our representative from the UAS 7 in Berlin. And Isabel, are you there?
Yes. Hello, everyone. Yes, as Leslie already said, I'm from the UAS 7 head office in Berlin, and that's where I'm speaking from. Yeah, I'm here today in the place of my colleague from the New York office, Kim Sims, who unfortunately is not able to speak today because of a flu which affected her voice. But with my German accent, you maybe will get an ambience like being in Germany today. I hope so.
Yes, absolutely.
And in the meantime, I try my very best to substitute my colleague and would like to give you some information about our new scholarship programs and our consortium of 7 universities of applied science. First of all, I'd like to start explaining what a University of Applied Science is in general, because for some of you it may not be familiar. In comparison with other German universities, research and teaching are always pursued with a practical, applications-oriented focus. They have small groups, and even lectures tend to be quite interactive. With UA7, 7 leading universities of applied science are associated because they tend to keep high standards and a high level of quality in different fields of collaboration, as for example offering together a scholarship program, of which I will speak later. In total, UA7 offers about 470 degree programs at bachelor's and master's level. Of what universities of applied science are also known is a strong linkage with business and industry. Here you see some examples of UA7's cooperation with companies, which are also known not only in Germany, I think some of them all over the world. This linkage is not at least so strong because the professors are recruited from the field directly, and faculty all have at least 3 years experience outside academia. Faculty often integrate real projects that their business connections give them for their students to complete in the context of the course. And as I already mentioned, we are 7 universities of applied science, which are spread from north to south of Germany. On the right you see a map with the cities. And some of these cities maybe are better known than others, but in Germany they are all known as cities with an extremely high quality of life, and each one has its special advantage. So with your application for a scholarship program of one of these cities, you can choose between 1 or 3 cities, and your choice should depend in first place of your study projects and how you can integrate them in your studies at home, and in the second place of your preferences of the kind of the city. If you say, for example, you wished once to live in a city where everyone goes by bike, you should choose Münster, I mean. And but if also you want to do courses in fashion design, you may better choose Hamburg, for example, just to give you an impression about how to decide between these 7 different cities. So now I will start to introduce the scholarship programs with which you can come to one of our University of Applied Sciences. We have kind of one umbrella program which we call SIP Plus, and in there we have 3 different program options. The first one listed here is kind of a combination of all of them. It means a study and internship program, shortly SIP. This program is similar to the scholarship program we offered during the last years. You start with a study semester in October, which endures usually until beginning or mid-February. or you come earlier in August, September to do an intensive language course before. And after the study semester, you will continue with an internship. In the classical ZIP, students did this internship in a German company, but now you can either choose to do so or to apply directly with your general application for a spot at a UAS 7 laboratory. The classic internship at a company usually lasts between 5 and 6 months. How long the lab internship lasts varies from lab to lab. Up to 6 months are possible, but also 3 months. I will give you more detail about the lab internship when I speak about the IP option. And if you opt for the alternative with the company internship, I have to say the placement is not guaranteed, but you will get support from your host UAS in the application process during the study semester. For example, regarding where you can search for an internship or how to write a letter of motivation in German style. The study program, the second one listed here, is for students who don't want or don't need the practical experience in work life or in a laboratory setting, but still want to have an international experience at a University of Applied Science with high quality standards in teaching and still a practical link in the courses. You can just come for a study semester to one UAS in this program option, either in the German winter semester starting from October or in the summer semester starting in March. The internship program, the third one listed here, is for students who only want to have the practical experience in a lab setting. Also here the duration varies from lab to lab, but also shorter periods like 2 months are possible. And as I stated, this depends from lab to lab. Prospectively, starting from next week, you will find description of the lab internships on our website and also more information about the other programs and so on. But at the moment, due to the hurricane, the information is not 100%, but we will work on this and yeah, have a look on the website later. And just to give you an impression what kind of internships are waiting for you in the labs, for example, aerospace technologies, communication, engineering, metrology, molecular biology, and so on, just to give you an idea, but there are a lot more. With a successful application to our programs, you also get some extra benefits, as a travel scholarship of €1,000, as well as tuition waiver at all our UAS. For the most outstanding students, there will be, instead of the travel scholarship, a full scholarship sponsored by the DAAD with a monthly stipend during the study semester and a travel allowance. But as I said, during the study semester, the full scholarship is only available for applicants for SP and SIP. Additionally, there are more benefits which vary from when you start your program and also from University of Applied Science to University of Applied Science. Yeah. So now just a little introduction to the application process. We had this question earlier, what is about the German proficiency? It is not required, but yeah, usually helpful. We do have, for example, we offer English courses or courses in English, but not so much. You have better opportunities to study or to understand everything if you bring already some proficiency in German. So what we will definitely need is a statement of motivation, which demonstrates your understanding of unique opportunities at universities of applied science. That means that you look into the what courses are offered and how you can integrate them in your studies at home. And we also need some two letters of recommendations and a study plan, which you have to fill out with 10 courses you would like to visit when you come here. And the application deadline is on February 15th. And yeah, please make sure that all application material will be there on time. And possibly we will have a second application round with deadline on October 1st, but this will be announced on our website. We will, yeah, I think the time is running out, so I will continue quickly. Yeah, as I stated already, if you want to learn more about the programs, please have a look later on our website. And if you don't want to look there every day, if there are some news, you can also write an email to my colleagues in the New York office at info@us7.org, and they will write you when everything is ready on the websites. And also please feel free to call my colleagues over there, and they will help you with any information. Yeah, thank you for listening.
Great. Thank you so much, Isabel. I appreciate it. And I'm going to just put up all of our contact information here, just so you have that while we head into the Q&A. So the first question is actually for, I'm going to have Jessica or Peter answer that. Let me just unmute you so that we're sure you can answer the questions. And that is regarding the Undergraduate Study Scholarship. And this is a question we get quite often, and that's that the university's application deadline is after the deadline for our grant. So what do students do when the university application deadline isn't until after the January 31st deadline for our grant?
Right. Well, that's a good question. But of course, keep in mind that the DAAD application and your application to the university in Germany are two separate applications. So certainly complete both applications and submit the DAAD application by the DAAD deadline, even if you haven't heard back from the German university yet, or even if their deadline hasn't hit. That's okay. DAAD is aware of that, and it's definitely important that you get the DAAD application in for your scholarship on time. So don't wait based on the fact that the university has a later deadline. We're aware of that, and it's not a problem. It shouldn't affect your application.
Great. Thanks, Jessica. The next question is for Isabel. Is every student who does the SIP program guaranteed a travel scholarship or a DAAD scholarship? And how do they apply for the travel scholarship?
Okay. It's you apply on the same time when you apply for the program, it's on the same time application for the scholarship. And if you will get a placement within this program, you automatically will receive the €1,000 travel scholarship. And but the selection committee will choose among the most outstanding applicants who will receive the DAAD scholarship. So you will be notified about this, which scholarship you will receive.
Great, thank you. The next question is for Andrea, and that is regarding the LMU program in German and European law. Does that require being a law student in the U.S., or can political science students that are focusing on law also be eligible?
That is actually, they require 1 to 2 years of law studies. But if there's a specific student, he or she should just email me, and I'll look into it, and I'll get in touch with the people in Munich, because they might do an exception depending on if you maybe have some practical experience as well. So I would want to inquire that specifically.
Okay, yeah. So the focus there being don't not apply, or don't think you're not eligible if you don't exactly.
They have information on the website what is required, but if there is if there's valuable experience, I would definitely try it. Yes.
Great, thank you. The next question for Isabel: if a student is going on an exchange through a bilateral agreement, can they still apply for the SIP funding?
If a student is already there, you mean? Sorry.
No, it's a program that would be through one of your partners, so agreement where you have an exchange where a certain number of students will go to Germany and a certain number come back to the home institution in the US or Canada.
Yeah, definitely. You can apply for the SIP program, and it's that we also would like to encourage especially our partners to send their students within this program.
Great. Thank you. And the next question is, maybe I'll have Jessica answer this, and that is, what does the application for the undergraduate scholarship entail? The undergraduate, I believe it's our standard undergraduate study grant.
Well, all of that information can be found on our website. So what I would recommend is to go to www.daad.org, which is O-R-G, and simply on the drop-down panel under Scholarships and Grants, it's the very top level there under it's undergraduates, and the very first scholarship is the Undergraduate Scholarship. So feel free to check that out. It gives you all of the eligibility criteria, all of the application guidelines, including link to the online application, as well as the Sprachzeugnis, which is your German language evaluation that you'll have to have completed if you're planning to do studies in German, but also it's important to remember to include that even if you aren't studying, even if you'll be studying in English. So get all of the details there. Essentially, you'll include a copy of your resume, CV, as well as you'll need 2 letters of recommendation from professors here in North America.
Great. Thanks, Jessica. The next question is for Andrea. For FUBIS and for the Munich International Summer University, what are the costs? Can you just briefly address costs for the program and if scholarships are available?
Yes. So unfortunately, we don't have scholarships for a lot of students, but in Munich we actually have a great program for students from our partner universities. We actually do offer some tuition waivers for all the programs. So if you are a student from a partner university, or if you're an administrator there, we do have these tuition waivers for the MISU program. For the cost, I just kind of expecting this question, I just calculated the cost of a 4-week summer program in Berlin with a semi-intensive German course and a subject course, which is it's a fairly intense program, including housing, a homestay option, and the registration fee. That would come out to 300 euros. That is all included except for the transportation. So that's, I think it's a very fair price, and as I said, that's including the housing. The Munich courses, they differ because quite a bit, because some of them travel quite extensively through Europe, but there are even they're at most in that price range, if not quite a bit less.
Great. Thanks for that, Andrea. The next question for the DAAD folks, and that is DAAD funds only the summer language program, so our summer course grant. Is there any other organization supporting language classes in January or another time of the year? Do you, either of you know that? I'm in the process of pulling up our funding guide website. I'm for some reason not able to multitask.
I know, but I don't know off the top of my head, particularly in January. Jessica, do you, or maybe Andrea or Isabel?
I know that the Goethe Institute offers some fellowships in all the Goethe Institutes in North America. They have, I think it's an annual scholarship to a Goethe Institute in Germany. But that is, as I said, one per Goethe Institute.
Right.
But that leaves basically students the choice when they want to go to Germany to do an intensive German course.
Okay, I actually was able to find, here we go, the website on funding opportunities, and this is funding opportunities outside of DAAD, so I'm sending, you can see it on my screen right now, and I'm also sending it as a link to everybody. So there you go. The next question is about RISE. So Peter or Jessica, do the applicants have to apply for a certain university, or is it open, and how does the selection process of the individual internship work?
Well, what happens is the database will go live at the end of next week, which is a database of all of the opportunities that are available in Germany for the coming summer.
It's December.
Yeah, December 6th.
December 6th.
December 6th. I'm sorry. I'm
next month.
Next month, December 6th. Thank you. Yeah, so the database is going live on December 6th. And the way it works is an applicant applies online for up to 3 opportunities. The dossier is assembled. Most of the application process is actually online. There is traditionally no interview, nothing of the sort, but you will probably have to submit some sort of essay as well as recommendations and a transcript. So the level of academic achievement is quite important in the application process. What happens then is at the end of the application period, all of the dossiers are assembled in our office in Bonn and then forwarded on to the potential hosts of the internships for which you have applied or your students have applied, and then a matchmaking process takes place. There are sort of 2 levels of matchmaking, or I should say of screening. The first of which is if you're going to actually get a placement or one of your students will be placed, and secondly, where does everyone fall in the funding scheme? Because we only have a limited number of funds, and it's generally around 300 of the first 300 applications, those who have sort of scored the highest in the screening process will be funded, but then there are some students who are on the cusp there who indeed have been awarded a placement, but unfortunately not without funding, and often those students then can secure funding through their universities or through other sources. But what we try to say is not every student can get into Harvard. So yes, of course, apply to your dream internship, but really think outside the box and look at some of the opportunities in probably lesser known places or in companies that are smaller where you'd be unique. It's really about looking at your experience, what you've done, and what makes sense as far as the internship is concerned, and in the internship application itself is that what you say you want to do, you're actually going to do, and that this internship will in fact benefit you in the long term, both personally and professionally and academically.
Great. Thank you, Peter. And we're here just out of time, but I want to close with one final question for Isabel. So you mentioned that the US7 website isn't quite all updated yet for the new programs. Is there a way to be notified about the website once it's been posted?
Yeah, but there are also some first information to get an impression, so so please have a look now. But also there's a way to be notified when everything will be there. You can just write an email to my colleague in the New York office. You see here the contact address, info@us7.org. and she will notify you when everything is complete.
Great. Thank you, Isabel. Thank you, Andrea, for participating, for both of you being our guest speakers from the German University Alliance and the University of Applied Sciences 7. Thank you very much to Peter in New York and Jessica in Toronto for talking to us about DAAD programs. And thanks to all of you for attending. I will be following up with an email with the slides from today's presentation, and in the next few days we'll be posting online a recording of this webinar, so you can pass that on to any of your colleagues who were not able to attend today. So again, a big thank you to all of you for taking part, and we hope to see you and your students in Germany soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.